right, everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to take a deep dive into Linear.
Ooh, linear.
Yeah, it's this project management tool, and it's really making a name for itself, especially with software
Well,
developers.
yeah, those devs.
Exactly. And we actually found this really cool Startup Talk podcast episode all about Linear.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and they called it, get this, the MacBook of issue trackers.
Whoa, bold statement.
Right. So today we're going to try to figure out, can it really live up to all this hype?
Yeah, especially for our listeners out there who are all about efficiency,
Sure.
getting things done.
Right.
Yeah.
So maybe the best place to start is, what problem is Linear even trying to solve?
Okay, so imagine this. You're a developer, right? You're coding, you're getting feedback, deadlines are looming,
Oh.
and you're just trying to stay in that flow state.
That's where the magic happens.
Exactly. But then, bam, you get pulled out of it.
What, by, a bug?
No.
Yeah.
By clunky project management tools.
Ooh, I know that feeling. It's like you disappear into this maze of menus and options.
Right.
And you're just trying to mark a task as done.
We're talking about those JIRAs of the world.
Asana.
Trello.
Yeah.
Powerful tools, sure, but sometimes they feel like they're from a different time.
Totally.
Not really designed for, the fast-paced world of software development.
And I feel like that's where Linear comes in. They want to streamline things, minimize those distractions.
Yeah, less tool time, more dev time.
Keep developers in that flow.
Exactly.
But how do they actually do that?
Okay, so they started with a laser focus on the MVP.
MVP.
Minimum viable product.
Got it.
So instead of, launching with every feature under the sun, they really honed in on a few core functions.
Okay, keep it simple.
Yeah, speed, a clean interface, even aesthetics matter.
So it's not just about functionality.
Right. It's got to look good, too.
Okay, so they're all about this streamlined experience. But did they actually talk to developers, or did they just, assume they knew what they wanted?
They were smart, actually. From day one, they prioritized user feedback.
Oh, smart move.
Even during that MVP phase, they were constantly tweaking things based on input from actual developers.
So they really wanted to make sure they were solving the right problems.
Exactly. And a great example of this is their, keyboard-centric design.
Oh, interesting.
You can pretty much navigate Linear entirely without a mouse.
Wow, that's perfect for those, super efficient developers who just live on the keyboard.
Yeah. It's all about that efficiency.
Right. So by focusing on a specific audience and actually incorporating that feedback, it sounds like Linear really nailed that, product market fit early on.
They did, but, the project management market, it's crowded.
It's a jungle out there.
How did they stand out against all those big players?
Yeah, that's a good question.
So their niche positioning played a huge role.
So they didn't try to be everything to everyone.
Exactly. They were like, we're here for developers and product managers in fast-paced environments.
Okay, so they had a very specific target.
Right. They emphasize speed, simplicity, and really understanding their audience's needs.
So it's all about, knowing your audience.
Exactly. And they did something really interesting with their launch.
Okay, what did they do?
It was invite-only at first.
Oh, exclusive.
Yeah. They created a buzz,
Yeah.
that sense of you got to be in the know.
Smart. Controlled growth, tight-knit community.
And constant refinement based on feedback.
Okay, so it sounds like they were building a solid foundation, but software development, it's all about iteration, right?
Right.
So how did they make sure Linear didn't get bloated or, lose its edge?
Rigorous testing, nonstop testing.
Really?
Yeah. And an iterative development process.
So they're constantly improving.
Always improving, yeah. They use CI/CD a lot.
Hold up, what's CI/CD?
Continuous integration and continuous deployment.
Okay, so what does that actually mean?
Basically, it allows them to release updates really quickly and get feedback almost instantly.
Oh.
And then there are feature flags.
Feature flags, that sounds interesting.
Okay, imagine feature flags like switches.
Okay, I'm visualizing it.
They can turn features on or off for certain users.
So like a beta test.
Yeah. It's great for testing and getting feedback before they release something to everyone.
Oh, that makes sense.
And this ties back to their obsession with speed.
They're all about speed.
Right. Their engineering team is super focused on making sure every update, every new feature stays lightning fast.
That's impressive.
It's all part of their philosophy.
Okay, so they're dedicated to keeping things lean and mean.
Exactly. But even with a great product and a smart strategy, breaking into a market with giants like JIRA, it's tough.
It's like David and Goliath.
Right. So how did Linear not just compete, but actually thrive?
Yeah, how'd they pull that off?
They embraced what we call niche positioning.
Niche position.
Yeah, it basically means focusing on serving a specific group of users really well.
So not trying to be everything to everyone.
Right. They understood that in a world full of general tools, specialization was key.
Okay, so find your lane and own it.
Exactly. And their differentiators were clear. Speed, minimalist design, integrations with tools developers already use, and that community-driven development process.
So they're listening to their users.
Always listening.
Okay, so instead of trying to be the Swiss Army knife of project management, they're the best scalpel out there.
That's a great way to put it.
And it seems like that's been their recipe for success. But here's where it gets interesting.
Okay, I'm listening.
This laser focus on a specific audience,
Yeah,
incredible in the short term, but could it actually limit their potential down the line?
that's a fantastic question,
Right.
and one that we'll definitely explore as we go deeper into Linear's journey.
Oh, there's more.
As always, more.
I like it. But before we dive into that, what are your initial thoughts?
Well, Linear hasn't just been sitting around, enjoying their success.
Oh, so they're not just resting on their laurels.
No way. They've been carefully expanding, adding new features.
Ooh, new features. But did they stay true to that less is more idea?
Absolutely. They didn't try to become like this giant project management monster.
So no kitchen sink approach.
No, no. Instead, they added things that feel like natural extensions, like milestones.
Milestones.
Yeah, for marking those big achievements, and roadmaps for visualizing the whole project,
Oh, that's helpful.
and even custom workflows to fit different teams.
Okay, so they're recognizing that developers are part of bigger projects, not just isolated tasks.
Exactly. But they're doing it without sacrificing Linear's, core identity.
So they're adding layers without the complexity.
Right. It's still intuitive, streamlined.
I like that. But what about collaboration? Software development is rarely a solo thing.
Oh, totally. They've really boosted the collaboration side of things.
Okay, how so?
They've got team dashboards now so everyone can see the progress.
Makes sense.
Automated workflows to, streamline those repetitive tasks.
Saving time. Nice.
And they've improved the comment threads, so discussions are more focused and productive.
So they're basically making teamwork smoother.
Exactly. And they're doing it all while keeping things simple.
It sounds like they're walking a tightrope, you know? Powerful features, but still simple.
It's a tough balance, but they're nailing it.
Did they have to, completely redo the tool to add all this stuff?
Nope, they stuck with that modular approach we talked about.
Okay, the build your own adventure thing.
Exactly. Users can pick and choose the features they want.
No bloat, no clutter, just what you need.
Right, it's about letting teams work their way.
I love that. So it seems like they're addressing that potential limitation we talked about earlier.
You got it. By starting with a core set of features and letting users expand based on their needs, Linear's built a platform that can work for all kinds of teams and projects.
So they're not just for small dev teams anymore.
Not at all. They're growing and evolving with their users.
And maybe even going beyond just software development.
You're catching on. It's like they've cracked the code for sustainable growth in a tough market.
So it sounds like they're doing a lot of things right.
They really are. Linear's journey is like a textbook example of how to build a successful product.
Focus on your strengths, understand your users, expand strategically.
Exactly. But it also raises some interesting questions.
I love a good question. What are you thinking?
Well, can a tool that's all about speed and simplicity really handle those big, complicated projects?
That's a good point.
And does their minimalist design mean they're missing some of those power features that, some users might expect?
Those are great questions. What do you think? You've seen a lot of project management tools, right?
I have. And it's important to remember that no tool is perfect. There will always be trade-offs.
So it's about choosing the right tool for the job.
Right. But what makes Linear special is that they're making those trade-offs very consciously.
So they're not just throwing things in there for the sake of it.
Exactly. They have this philosophy. Speed, simplicity, user-centric design. Those are essential, not just nice to have.
That's a powerful statement. So as we wrap up this deep dive into Linear, what are some key takeaways for our listeners? Whether they're building products, managing teams, or just trying to get things done more efficiently.
Okay, I think there's some really valuable lessons here. First, focus on your core users. Solve their problems really well.
Like become the expert in your niche.
Exactly. Don't try to please everyone. Become the best solution for a specific group.
Find your ramen lovers.
Yes. And second, don't underestimate speed. Everyone's busy, Attention spans are short.
So a tool that saves you time is a huge win.
It's a game changer.
Yeah.
Linear gets that.
They were built for speed.
Right. Another takeaway, iterative development and user feedback. Don't be afraid to launch early, get feedback, and keep improving.
So don't try to make it perfect right out of the gate.
Exactly. Get it out there, learn, and make it better. Linear is a great example of that. And what about community?
Oh, community is crucial. Building a strong community around your product, that's a powerful thing.
Yeah, it's like having a built-in support system and marketing team.
Right. Linear used their community to spread the word, get feedback, create a sense of ownership.
Okay, so community is key.
Yeah.
And last but not least.
Expand strategically. Don't just add features for the sake of it.
So think before you add that shiny new button.
Exactly. Consider how it will affect the user experience and stick to that modular approach so users can customize things.
So we've covered a lot, right? Linear's lean approach, their speed obsession, their user-centric design.
We've seen how they conquered a tough market, expanded strategically, and built a great community.
It's a pretty inspiring story, honestly.
It is. Linear shows what you can achieve with focus, adaptability, and a commitment to your users.
But before we wrap up, I think we need to leave our listeners with a final thought-provoking question. So we've talked about how Linear found all this success by really focusing on a specific niche, those developers and product managers.
Right. But could that same focus, that laser focus, actually hold them back in the long run?
That's a great question.
Or is specialization the key to lasting success, especially in a world where it seems like everyone wants tools that can do everything?
It's a tricky thing, isn't it? It's
Yeah.
like focusing on a niche, it lets you become an expert.
Right.
You
Yeah.
really get to know your users, their needs,
Yeah.
and you can build a product that's perfectly tailored for them.
It's like you become the best ramen shop in a town full of pizza places.
I like that.
Right. You're not for everyone, but those ramen lovers, they'll find you.
Exactly. But the downside is you might limit your market.
Yeah, if you get too specific.
You could miss out on opportunities to grow, to reach a wider audience.
So it's all about finding that balance.
Right. Specialized enough to stand out, but
Right.
adaptable enough to keep growing.
And it's not just about the product, right? It's about the whole ecosystem around it.
You got it. Linear's done a great job with that.
Like how so?
They've built a strong community.
Yeah, we talked about that.
They've encouraged integrations with other tools, and they've created this brand that really speaks to their audience.
So it's more than just a piece of software.
Yeah, it's a whole vibe.
Right. So even if they stick with developers, there's still tons of room to grow within that space.
Oh, absolutely.
They could focus on specific areas of software development or even branch out into other fields like data science or machine learning.
Yeah, where those streamlined workflows are super valuable.
Exactly. And they can keep expanding those integrations, becoming a must-have for developers.
Imagine if Linear works seamlessly with every tool a developer uses.
It becomes more than just a tool.
It's like the central hub for their work.
Wow, almost like a platform in itself.
Exactly. And that platform, it has so much potential.
It's kind of exciting to think about where they might go next.
Yeah, the possibilities are endless.
Well, there you have it, folks. A deep dive into Linear.
The project management tool that's shaking things up.
We've talked about their lean approach, their speed obsession, their commitment to their users.
We saw how they found success in a tough market, expanded strategically, and built this amazing community.
Honestly, it's a really inspiring story.
It is. Linear shows us that focusing on your strengths, being willing to adapt, and putting your users first, those are the keys to success.
And their journey has some great lessons for anyone, whether you're building products, managing teams, or just trying to be more efficient.
Totally. It reminds us that less can be more,
Right.
that speed and simplicity are super important, and that building a community can make all the difference.
So whether you're a developer, an entrepreneur, or just someone who loves a well-designed tool, we hope this deep dive gave you some new ideas.
Maybe even inspired you to give Linear a try.
Yeah, you might be surprised how much a little less clutter and a little more speed can change the way you work.
Thanks for joining us.
And be sure to tune in next time for another deep dive into the world of tech and innovation.